Welcome to 217 Kolak YT. The chapter begins. A still sky above an airport, steel birds waiting, the tension in the air building. The crowd breaks into cheers and camera flashes as a towering man emerges from the airport terminal. It's Yuri Orlov. A voice yells above the din. Reporters and fans swarm the man as his imposing frame strides forward. He smiles easily, enjoying the attention. Flashbulbs pop. Over here. Look this way, please, someone shouts. Yuri Orlov answers the media with charisma. When asked how he intends to block off an S-rank gate, he grins. By using the same strategy one always do. He gestures confidently. I'll draw a magic circle around the gate and pour my mana into it. Whatever's inside won't be able to escape. Skeptics ask if he alone can hold such a powerful barrier. Orlov's smirk turns sly. I can't sustain the barrier by myself, he admits. But my magic circle can draw mana from its surroundings. He paints a vision. Mana crystals spread across Tokyo, feeding energy into the circle like fuel into an engine. Once it's up, it will become a sturdy wall, he declares. I'm going to save your lives, so make sure you remember that. Far from the cheering crowd, in a quiet office, Chairman Go watches Orlov's interview on a TV screen. I'm not sure if Yuri Orlov can really block an S-rank gate, Chairman murmurs. But I know what'll happen if he fails. Conversation shifts to Jin Woo. What's he up to these days? Chairman Go asks. Currently raiding gates in Seoul, sir, comes the reply. The Jin Guild has requested entry permits for multiple gates, an aggressive move, considering they cross into territories controlled by 3 other major guilds. A one-man guild, as powerful as the majors. The superior muses impressed? They note that the Jin Guild asked to handle all nearby gates for the week, without explanation. As the meeting ends, Agent Woo Jinshul receives a call. Something strange has occurred. A gate has spawned inside a school. More alarming still, a double dungeon was discovered inside it. The scene shifts. The earth rumbles. Shadows churn. Stone statues begin to stir. Jinwoo steps into the double dungeon, his figure swallowed by darkness. A burst of wind. A roar of motion, and then silence. A shattered slab of commandments lies beneath his feet. So the commandments didn't mean anything after all. Jinwoo muses. From the silence, a black-robed statue speaks. Its words echo through the air. They once meant something. It says, but not anymore. Jinwoo looks up. Are you the one who summoned me? The statue answers, yes. Its voice is deep, ancient. When Jinwoo asks if it's a magic beast, the reply is cryptic. You're asking the wrong question. Instead of asking who I am, you should be asking who you are. Suddenly, the room stirs. This shall be your final test, the entity declares. If you are still standing by the end, I will tell you everything. That shall be my reward to you. The ground trembles. Statues crack and shift. Massive golems with glowing eyes step forward, their swords drawn. Jinwoo's shadow rises. Come forth, he commands. But the entity snaps its fingers. That won't do. No cheating allowed. A system message appears. The use of job-specific skills is not permitted for the final test. Jinwoo frowns as restriction after restriction is listed. No potions. No store. No help from his shadow soldiers. It's just him and the dungeon. So this is how it's gonna be, huh? He mutters. Guess I'll have to beat them with my own strength. With a steely gaze, Jinwoo dives into battle. Steel meets steel. He dodges, counters, and strikes. The air tears with every swing of his blade. He moves like lightning. One by one, the statues fall. That's right, he whispers. I've been waiting for this moment. No, he corrects himself, eyes burning with purpose. I've been living for this moment. The stone-robed entity watches from afar, amused and impressed. You've done so much with the body of a human, it says. Truly impressive growth. Jinwoo battles on, eyes locked in determination. Each one is strong, he says through gritted teeth. But I can do this. The entity folds its arms, its wings of stone creaking behind it. It's too early for the test to end. Suddenly, the temple rumbles again. From the shadows, an even larger statue begins to move. More than a dozen new enemies rise behind it. The dark figure grins. Now then, it says, it's time to worship God. And we see Hunter Headquarter, where Chairman Go shows some files to the Japanese guild master in the paper. Though Goto Ruji held malicious intentions, there was no denying that he was a symbol of Japan's strength. A hunter who represented his entire country. But now he was gone. The consequences were grave. His death, the collapse of the Blade Guild, and the rising tide of infighting among the Japanese guilds. One man's ambition had crumbled the fragile balance, and the weight of the tragedy was falling squarely onto another's shoulders. Inside a quiet office, a powerful man presses play on a small camera device. It belonged to Goto's team, feeding back to a hidden receiver. He slams his hand on the table, his face grim. The sacrifices that were made because of your crafty ploy, everything, will fall on your shoulders. Across the desk, the other man stiffens. What's this? The chairman glares. A camera that was connected to your receiver. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Sparks of raw aura crackle around him. His presence, once composed, now surges with fury. This isn't the time to be negotiating with essence stones. If the truth gets out, the people of Japan will suffer the consequences of your crooked schemes. Without warning, he smashes the table in a brutal display of strength, shards flying, the office shaking from the force. The scene shifts back to the dungeon. Jin Woo dashes through the endless waves of stone knights. They keep coming, an army of unyielding sentinels, their red eyes glowing in the dark. But he moves like a phantom, fluid and precise, never slowing. He glances behind. A towering knight is charging. Jin Woo's eyes narrow. Then, lightning. It's too late to dodge, he thinks, summoning his skill. In that case, he stretches his arm forward, and violet lightning envelopes it. The Dominator's touch. Power erupts from his palm as he strikes forward, slicing into the enemy with force that reverberates across the battlefield. But then, the skill evolves. Skill, the Dominator's touch, has been upgraded to its final form, the ruler's authority. And with it comes raw destructive power. A blinding kaboom rips through the hall as the giant guardian retaliates, firing a devastating beam of energy. Jinwoo narrowly evades the attack, the heat scorching the ground behind him. That was close. I wouldn't survive a direct hit, even at my current level. He leaps to safety, dust and fire in his wake. I need to take out that guy first. With determined eyes, he launches forward, dodging another blast as he prepares his next move. Speed. It's everything now. He focuses, channeling his energy. If I combine my speed with the commander's authority, I can go straight for its blind spot. A crimson glow ignites from the guardian's eye. Another laser beam incoming, but Jinwoo is faster. He vanishes from sight, reappearing at the creature's neck. And then, slash, an onslaught of violet slashes rain down like lightning bolts, cleaving the air in a brilliant storm. But something's wrong. The Demon King's dagger. It usually slices through anything. This time, it only left scratches. He grits his teeth. Well, if I can't cut through it, I'll use brute force. He finds a weak point, a visible crack in the armor. He tightens his fist. Magic surges through his arm. Take that. He punches through the crevice with a roar. Boom! The knight's armor shatters. Pieces explode in every direction. A flurry of punches, each one faster and more precise than the last. The mighty stone guardian collapses, broken. Jinwoo drops to the ground, surrounded again by soldiers. More shadows swarm toward him. He steadies his breath. I'll show you what being level 103 really means. Commander's authority activates again. Rumble. The ground collapses beneath him as shadow magic floods the area, consuming the remaining enemies. Smoke clears. Crushed stone surrounds him. Jinwoo stands tall, unshaken, victorious. He clenches his fist. Thanks to this battle, I feel like I've grown even more powerful. But before he can rest, a slow applause echoes through the silence. From the shadows, the massive angel statue floats forward, wings spread wide. Still intact? Jinwoo's eyes narrow. You'd better keep your promise. But the angel only chuckles. Huh? The test isn't over yet. Crumbling stone reveals a presence that hasn't faded. Can't you see? The angel grins. I'm still here. An urgent quest has arrived. The black panel glows ominously. Your heart will stop beating if you fail to defeat the enemy within the allotted amount of time. Time left, 10 minutes. 0 seconds. Jinwoo steps forward, voice calm but burning. Who the hell are you? The angel laughs. I'm pretty sure I told you. That was a silly question. But fine. I'll give you an answer. Crumble. Crack. A smile emerges. I am the architect of the system. The stone mask splits. Half angelic, half demonic. A terrifying, perfect symmetry. The architect's voice echoes one last time. Are you satisfied with my answer? A swirling blue gate pulsed outside the building, crackling with raw magic. Students and onlookers stood frozen in a tense silence, eyes glued to the portal. Fear lingered in the air like smoke. Outside the Hunters Association, the urgency had taken hold. Everyone from the surveillance team, please come this way. A voice called out, slicing through the tension. A team of elite hunters assembled, their armor gleaming, faces grim. I managed to gather 7 elite hunters from the association on short notice, Mr. Woo reflected internally. I already know they're not enough to help Mr. Sung. I'm just preparing for the worst-case scenario. Mr. Woo stared at the portal, his eyes widening. Something was wrong, very wrong, Mr. Woo. A voice echoed, sir. A dreadful chill crept through the air. The aura spilling from the portal was suffocating. A terrible storm of mana roared from within. Hunters looked around, faces pale. One muttered, "What is this?" The pressure deepened. A monstrous shadow loomed from within the gate. Red eyes flared beneath a hood, and a bone mask peeked through the darkness. Where is this bone-chilling aura coming from? Outside, officials scrambled for reinforcements. Are there any major guilds near us on standby? Yes, sir. The Hunters Guild is on standby to raid. And their 2 S-rank hunters? Mr. Choi Jong-in and Ms. Cha Hae-in have both agreed to participate. Put in an emergency request with the Hunters Guild. We need their cooperation, Mr. Woo commanded. Inside the gate, beneath a sky carved of mana and stone, Jin Woo stood alone. Suddenly, a blur of destruction crashed into him. He grunted, body flung through stone and debris. Dust filled the air. But as he rose, blood trickling from his lips, his glowing eyes locked forward, he charged. A strike exploded from above, pulverizing stone as Jin Woo dodged at the last moment. The creature's massive fist chased him, each swing followed by a thunderous, the battle turned savage. Stone shattered. Wind howled. Blows landed in blurs, speed clashing with brutal force. In the shadows, the architect grinned. His eyes gleamed with excitement. Impressive. Truly impressive, the masked being growled. You're exceeding my expectations. Jin Woo's blood traced a line down his face, but his resolve burned hotter. Who knew I'd have so much fun fighting against a human being? The architect cackled. Not once in my many years of life did I think a human could be a worthy opponent. How very amusing. Jin Woo's body trembled, but not from fear. Determination pulsed from his core. This guy invited me here the moment I reached level 101, he thought. He probably thought I was no match for him. But I can do this. His voice sharpened. Hey, architect. I've still got loads to ask you. Why did you construct this system? Why did you choose me as its player? And what's happening to this world right now? The architect's response was chilling. Do you want to know? He descended, 6 arms spread wide, the shadows behind him twitching like snakes. I see. Maybe you think you might not get all the answers if you kill me. Jin Woo's eyes narrowed. Close combat puts me at a disadvantage, he admitted, dashing across the arena floor. Skill. Dominator's authority has been activated. Mana surged around him. He shot forward, but the architect sneered. Are you planning to attack from a distance? It's no use. An identical blast of energy exploded from the architect. Jin Woo's attack was nullified. He skidded across the stone, eyes widening. He can use the same skills as me. That means long-distance attacks are pointless too. The architect hovered with menace. It doesn't matter. Whether you kill me or not. The answers you will receive are already predetermined. They've been predetermined since the moment I first designed everything. He raised his many arms. Each weapon shimmered, swords, spears, halberds, axes. How were you able to design all this? Jinwoo demanded. And how were you able to give me such powers? I didn't choose you, the architect answered. In fact, I was against the idea. I am simply the architect and moderator of the player breeding system. He floated higher, power swelling. My design is perfect. I am going to use full force for the remaining time. Time left, 5 minutes, 15 seconds. Jinwoo's mind raced. I don't have time. I have to face him head on. He leapt, striking fast. Steel clanged as their weapons collided. The storm of attacks began. What's going on? Jinwoo's heartbeat thundered. All of my senses are getting sharper. I can do this, he realized. Longsword, spear, blade, axe, hammer. I can sense all of his movements. He danced through the architect's assault, slashing and dodging, finding rhythm in the chaos. The architect stared in disbelief. I'm using full force. How is he able to block all of my blows and then attack in response? And he's getting even faster. The architect staggered. I'm inside a fake body, but I can't believe he's inflicting pain on me. I see, he muttered, retreating. Could this be why you were chosen? It's only a small fraction, but it's mixed in there. You're just a mere human, he bellowed. How dare you? Time left, 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Stone Guardians awakened. Titans loomed. Jinwoo sprinted, breath sharp, eyes locked. He activated Diminator's authority again. The battlefield trembled. Time left, 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Jinwoo slammed into the nearest golem. He leapt, slash, then flipped through the air as enemies closed in. Stone giants fell. A blade grazed his cheek. He turned and retaliated. Time left, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. He gasped as a towering guardian emerged. Its armor glinted like iron walls. It's the same guy from before. Jinwoo snarled. The golem pounced. Jinwoo crushed its skull in one brutal leap. Crush? He didn't slow. Time was running out. Time left, 2 minutes, 14 seconds. The architect knelt in defeat. The test is over, he said quietly. I've lost. Time left, 2 minutes, 11 seconds. A still silence stretches into eternity. Then a voice, non-human, ancient, and commanding, echoes. The answer is within you. A massive stone hand points downward, cracked and timeless, like a god passing judgment. Jinwoo looks up, his voice soft and confused. Within me? Flames flicker around him. He stands tall amidst the wreckage, bloodied but unyielding. A system chime sounds. The data stored in your memory will be retrieved. Accept? Yes or no? The architect, with his sinister grin and glowing red eye, watches from the shadows. He speaks, his voice cold and deliberate. The choice is yours. Jinwoo's eyes narrow. He repeats the words in his mind. The data stored in my memory? A pause. Then clarity. He nods once and declares with resolve, yes. I accept. Light erupts all around him in a blinding flash. The data has been successfully retrieved, the system confirms. Jinwoo floats in the storm of radiance, arms wide, lost in an ocean of light. Then silence. The light vanishes. Darkness consumes the scene. A world spirals into view, born of nothing. And at the center of it, him. Not just a man now, but something far greater. His entire form glows white, crackling with raw energy. Towering beasts with crimson eyes turn to look, not into the sky, but at him. What are they looking at? Jinwoo wonders aloud. He turns, realization dawning. They're looking at him. The wind howls like the cries of the damned. And overhead, the sky churns purple. Vortexes spiral like black holes. Jinwoo stares upward. A purple sky and hordes of beasts. His voice grows colder, graver. This can't be planet Earth. The wind screams. And the storm hasn't even begun? If this monstrous army, made up of ice elves, high orcs, goblins, giants, and countless other beasts, were to break out of the gate all at once, humanity wouldn't stand a chance. They would be annihilated in seconds. But they weren't after the humans. Crack. The air itself fractures, glowing with violent energy. A radiant wall shatters. And then it didn't take me long to figure it out. What would happen next was already in motion. Endless, divine wings burst from the sky. Warriors of light descend like angels of judgment, silver-armored and magnificent, spears ready to strike. Their presence is overwhelming. Jinwoo stares, breathless, the reflection of divine might in his eyes. The battlefield trembles as the word echoes through the darkness. War. The beasts roar in unison, rallying to fight the silver soldiers head-on. Claws clash with spears. Fangs gnash against shields. The sky is torn in two. The sound of crushed armor and screaming blades fills the air. Blood pools. Agony erupts. The silver soldiers are overwhelming, unstoppable. But Jinwoo's eyes lock onto something. That presence. But below, in the shadows, something else stirs. Purple flames flicker to life. A sound. A command. Arise. That's the Monarch's domain. And shadow extraction. His powers, his very essence, are echoing across this battlefield. Does that mean he's the Monarch of Shadows? A towering figure cloaked in violet fire rises, his armor dark as void, his presence suffocating. Shadows pour from his body like smoke from an ancient forge. Immortality. An army that never dies. Jinwoo watches, eyes wide. He can summon so many shadow soldiers. I'm nothing compared to him, he whispers. From the pit of death, thousands rise, silent and ready. They charge the silver army like a wave of vengeance. One rider leads them forth, a streak of darkness cleaving the sky. The black and silver armies crash into each other, locked in brutal, unforgiving war. Lightning tears through the sky. Explosions thunder. The very ground shakes beneath them. Blades clash. Wings shatter. Screams echo in every direction. The silver soldiers should have won. They were divine, precise. But something changed. Something tipped the scales. One presence shifted the battle entirely. One shadow. Crush. From the sky, he drops like a meteor, cleaving into the enemy ranks. His body a blur of violet power. Blood flies. Metal screams. He moves like death incarnate. The commander's authority, Jin Woo mutters. Wherever he passed, nothing remained but ruin. Victory was his. Scene shift back to dungeon. Are you sure about this? I'm sensing a tremendous amount of mana, a hunter muttered, eyes narrowing. You said. Jinwoo is inside, right? Yes, I'm sure of it. But something was wrong. This mana. It isn't Jinwoo's. If it's not his, then who the hell does it belong to? The team stepped forward into a forgotten nightmare, a second gate. A dungeon within a dungeon. A double dungeon, one whispered. So the rumors, they were true. Inside, memories of death lingered. I'm indebted to Mr. Sung, Mr. Woo said solemnly. But he told me something strange. He wasn't the one who cleared the double dungeon. What? He said it himself. He didn't defeat the beast inside. A heavy silence fell. Then, why did he come back? The question had no time for an answer, because they showed up. A sealed door creaked open. Are you sure about this? Someone asked. But no one could respond. It couldn't be a coincidence. As the doors groaned wider, a suffocating pressure oozed from the shadows. What the hell? They entered a room long forgotten. And there, before them, was proof of every nightmare. What is this place? So it's true. The statue of God and the stone sculptures, they're real. Then, a voice. Oh? What's this? I don't recall inviting humans here. The statues, once silent and still moved. This is another unexpected surprise. Fear spread like wildfire? Am I hearing things? Did that magic beast just talk? It knows a human language? Then a hush. Silence. The voice demanded. How dare you disturb the king in his slumber? King. Jinwoo was standing, bloodied, unmoving. His eyes stared into the void. It's Jinwoo, a voice whispered, recognizing his figure in the distance. What's he doing there? Before they could act, a blade ignited. A monstrous arm tore through the air. Stone cracked. Blood sprayed. Eyes widened. The strike had already been made. She gasped, golden eyes flashing with realization. From the shadows, the architect with a cruel grin. You strong humans will make excellent first offerings to the king. A shadow falls across the battlefield, silent, unyielding. A figure, cloaked in violet flame, descends through the chaos. And then, a storm of mana detonates between them. Blue and red collide. The sky breaks. The clash sends shockwaves that tear through the battlefield. The ground fractures. The battlefield shatters under the sheer magnitude of their power. The sky opens, and through the veil, they come. A new army emerges. Fangs, claws, eyes that burn like dying stars. The Ricardo, Pydos, Roken, Ingrias, names once feared in whispers, now called forth in blood and flame. But they are not alone. A darker force rises still, and even the Radairu clan, Essel's bloodline, has answered the call. The ground trembles. It quakes again. A white beast, the size of a mountain, emerges. Fur like snow, stained with war. Eyes crimson with hunger. And behind him, a stampede of monsters. Howling, charging, devouring the light with every stride. Ogres, minotaurs, beasts of horn, fong, and fury, all storm the field as one. Their faces stoic, but even they can feel the tide turning. And from the ranks, a knight watches. Cold, calculating, eyes burning violet through a mask of steel. Scene shift back to dungeon. A hunter stumbles, bloody, gasping. Heal him. Quick. Desperation rises. The wounded are pulled back. Magic flares in frantic pulses. Use everything you've got. Move the wounded to the back. Hang in there, Myung Chul. Here they come. Stone crashes underfoot. A monstrous wave of enemies surges forward. But in the distance, a voice pierces the madness. Chilling. Cruel. Anyone who's still alive, by the time all of my puppets collapse, will be given the great honor of witnessing the king's birth. From the darkness, the architect speaks again, his voice like coiled wire dragging across steel. Provided that any of you actually survive until then, that is. Then silence. A tremor. A flicker. Sparks explode from the statues. Eyes blazing. Weapons shimmering with cursed light. Everyone, watch out! Mr. Choi's voice shatters the stillness, raw with urgency. The assault begins. Blinding beams of destruction rip across the battlefield. Stone walls crumble like paper. The floor buckles and screams. A blur cuts across the chaos. Hunter Choi lands, his boots cracking the stone. He doesn't hesitate. His claw glows bright with magical energy. A radiant arc slices upward. The massive puppet staggers. Smoke bellows. But even with such force, they don't fall. Mr. Choi roars. Use this chance to destroy the stone statues. From behind him, a flash. Mr. Woo launches forward. His blade gleams. His strike, true, but the statue barely dents. Eyes wide, the hunter curses under his breath. It's a lot sturdier than I thought. Another explosion rocks the arena. Debris rains from above. Back on the ground, Mr. Choi clenches his fists, his mana flaring. These guys have a high resistance to physical attacks. So be careful. A statue burns in magical fire, yet it still stands. Hunter Cha, eyes wide in disbelief, whispers, "Wait, it can withstand this much magic. Do they also have a resistance to spell attacks?" The hunters fall into disarray. A hunter shouts, "Hunter Cha, none of my provocation skills are working on them. My basic psychokinetic spells don't have any effect either. They won't budge." Panic builds. The enemy won't be provoked. They won't be burned. Mr. Choi grits his teeth. His voice low, desperate. "Damn it. Are we all out of options?" And then, he turns. Eyes locked on the center of the storm, Sung Jin Woo stands there. Still, silent, surrounded by fractured stone. His gaze, empty. "Then we have to wake Sung Jin Woo up," Mr. Choi shouts. "Well, whatever it is, this is the only way to wake him up right now." And the flame races forward. But the architects stop his attack. The battlefield screams once more. Mr. Choi's eyes widen in shock, his voice frozen, his heart thundering. From above, a devastating arc of magic slams down. Dust erupts. Stone flies. The force of the strike is unnatural, ferocious, precise. And then, a voice, cold and ancient, cuts through the chaos. "How dare you try to disturb the king in his slumber?" The architect, a puppet of vengeance. Its silhouette looms like a god of death. Its form tears through the wind. The ground quakes as another blow lands. Allies are scattered, flung like dolls in the storm. But still they rise. Mr. Wu shouts, "Ms. Cha? We'll take care of things over here. So please, go wake Sung Jin Woo up." Cha Hayan nods. No hesitation. Only resolve. "Got it." She launches forward. And then Jin Woo. He stands still, unmoving. The storm rages around him. But he does not stir. And somewhere beyond, inside the shadow realm, Jin Woo floats. Silent, surrounded by infinite darkness and light. The beasts close in. Monstrous, ravenous. But the shadow soldiers fight on. Slain, regenerated. The shadows just keep regenerating, no matter how many times they're destroyed. If those were my soldiers, I'd have run out of mana a long time ago. It's like he has a bottomless pit full of mana. Two worlds collide. The beasts from the gates. The demon clans. Against Shadow Monarch's endless army of shadows. They had no reason to fight each other. This was a war between beasts and silver soldiers. And then, a new thought strikes. So the Monarch of Shadows wasn't on the same side as the magic beasts? Or maybe there was internal conflict. Weapons clash again. Blades of bone and steel dance in death's embrace. In the distance, a lone figure kneels. The Monarch of Beasts, massive and brutal. Before him, a Monarch of Shadows steps forward, cloaked in black fire. "We had a chance to end this war today. So why did you betray me?" The demon monarch, his face cracked, fangs bared. "What a shame. I could have done away with you." But the Shadow Monarch's gaze pierces through. I asked you a question. Why did you betray me? No answer. Just laughter, a language no human speaks. Power swells. He lunges. He crushes the demon armor cracks. Blood rains from the impact. And from the smoke. Those eyes, where have I seen them? A heartbeat, a revelation. Baron, the demon king, Jin Woo's eyes widen. Baron, since when? Why didn't I notice until now? Another heartbeat. His power stirs. The shadows twist, his mana ignites. Two hearts beat as one. And then, he moves. Sung Jinwoo awakens. The battlefield stops. Time holds its breath. Above them, the clouds part. From the heavens, they descend, celestial soldiers, armor of white, wings of flame, spears in hand. 10, 20, more, and their leader divine. Unyielding. He lands, eyes glowing, silence crashing over the battlefield. Chapter end here. For more, like and subscribe. Welcome to 217 Colic YT. The chapter begins. You're quite amusing, says a voice, deep, mechanical, ancient. It's the architect. A towering stone giant, his face split with fractures and cruel wisdom, grins coldly. His mismatched eyes gleam, one glowing red, the other eerily human. Quite amusing indeed. Try a bit harder to break free from my design. Why don't you? Hunter Cha steps forth. Her body whips into motion with the precision of a blade drawn by instinct. Sword dance. With a single cry, she spins, unleashing a devastating flurry of slashes. Her blades draw twin arcs of light through the chamber, striking the architect with ringing steel and sparks. There you go. The architect's laughter grows louder, unbothered by the blows. Just like that. She presses forward, unrelenting, carving at him again and again. She darts in again, but this time, the architect counters. His blade flashes. A cry of pain escapes her lips as his sword rips across her shoulder. Arg. She's thrown back, bleeding. The architect steps forward, mocking. Is that all you've got? He lifts his head proudly. Well, I guess there won't be any deviations after all. You humans never fail to disappoint. Then, suddenly, a surge of power erupts behind her. A second hunter joins the fray. Golden-haired and fierce-eyed, he launches an explosive magical strike straight at the architect's face. The shockwave rips through the chamber. The architect stumbles for the first time. Cracks bloom across his already shattered mask. Yet still, he doesn't fall. I suppose this is the best you can do, he mutters. From the other side of the battlefield, another voice speaks, clear, firm, focused. We must wake up Sung Jinwoo. Mr. Choi, eyes glowing, turns to his allies. It's the only way. The cold, glowing eye of the stone sentinel flares red, a silent observer, watching. But something shifts. It senses something foreign. A shadow stirs. Hunter Cha-haen, wounded yet defiant, breathes heavily. The shadow energy rises from within her. The enemy's voice echoes with suspicion. A shadow? The rules of this room don't allow for such things to come forth, but that is undoubtedly a shadow. Eyes widen. To think the king planted one of his soldiers in you. How did you all find this place? The enemy growls. And what is your relationship to Sung Jinwoo? She meets its gaze without fear. We're his friends, she says softly. Friends, who are here to rescue him. Perhaps it wasn't the king's doing. A pause. Then the architect speaks again, grimly amused. All right. I'll give you a chance. The temple trembles. Today, one of the great monarchs will descend upon this world. And I'm going to give you the chance to witness this glorious event. The giant stone architect looms forward, voice thick with menace. No matter. All of your little human friends shall die. Right here. Right now. Then, with a thundering crash, a figure descends, blazing violet eyes, wreathed in shadow. Not on my watch. Jinwoo slams into the stone figure with a devastating blow, shattering part of its colossal form. The architect stumbles, its painted grin cracking. Jinwoo stares, calm but unreadable. You, what have you done to my body? Jinwoo clenches his fist, swirling with mana. The other hunters, Cha-haen, Mr. Choi, and Wu Jincheol, look on in shock. Jinwoo's voice cuts through. Blackheart. The heartbeat pulses. He narrows his eyes. So this crazy amount of mana is thanks to this heart? A panel flickers before him. Title, Demon Hunter, you have met all of the requirements. You have recalled your defeat of the Demon King Baron, the Monarch of White Flames. An incredible power has acknowledged the player as its master. Effect, Black Heart plus 100,000 mana, MP. 109,433. His eyes gleam, power barely contained. Judging from his reaction, I can deduce two things. This black heart isn't part of his grand design, and it was never meant to strengthen my powers. But the retrieved data didn't give me all the answers. I haven't heard the full story yet. He steps forward. You said you were against choosing me as a player. But what exactly is a player? And what were you trying to do to me? The architect's eyes flicker. Could it be? Rage builds, Monarch of Shadows. How could you do this to us? You think the other monarchs will let you get away with this? Jinwoo's dual blades glow with charge power. Electricity crackles. Just answer my questions. Swords hover, ready to strike from every angle. The architect glares, wide-eyed. Haha. You're an unpredictable one, aren't you? I think I now understand why you were chosen. Far across the chamber, two hunters look up, startled. What the? The statues. The once lifeless stone gods begin to stir. Even the ones that had never moved before have started to move. Cracks splinter across their stony forms as red eyes ignite. Looming over the circular arena, the architect's voice rises again. Haha. If I die now, no one will be able to stop my puppets. Think you can still kill me? Jinwoo's eyes narrow. What if I killed you and managed to defeat your puppets as well? The architect flinches. I'm the architect of this system. If you were to kill me, Jinwoo finishes the thought with a smirk. I'd return to being an E-rank hunter. He chuckles. I've actually thought about that. But an existing system doesn't fall apart when its creator vanishes, now does it? The architect stares, dumbfounded. Then, I'll have to manually. Suddenly, an avalanche of golden notifications rains down, flickering. But with each flash comes rejection. The system has denied the administrators access. Over and over. Why is the system denying me access? Jinwoo's voice cuts through. You know, I once thought to myself, the system is using me. He looks upward, violet eyes glowing with resolve. But I'm going to use the system. It needs me, Sung Jinwoo, to be strong. If I have become someone's avatar through this system, I have no choice but to meet their expectations. A beat. I'll swallow the system whole. And lucky for me, it seems your design is full of flaws. The architect screams in fury. How dare you? Its body shatters further as colored lights pierce through its form, green, red, violet, blue. Jinwoo walks through the storm of destruction, untouched. The architect's voice weakens. Let me make a prediction. No, a prophecy. It crumbles, body breaking away into dust. When the pillars of fire supporting the skies are erected, an unavoidable death will come and find you. Jinwoo looks up, unreadable. So be it. A brilliant vortex pulses at the center of a school courtyard. The sky above twists with glowing blue magic as heavily armed hunters stand guard, their eyes fixed on the gate. It's been over an hour since the Hunters Guild entered. Nearby, murmurs ripple through a group of nervous spectators. If our guild had gone in, we would have been doomed, one man mutters. Suddenly, the vortex flares again, figures emerge, cloaked in a haunting blue glow. The hunters are coming out. From the light, the surviving members of the elite Hunters Guild slowly step forth. At their front, Choi Jong-in, Cha Hae-in, and Mr. Woo, battle-worn but alive. Bystanders gasp in disbelief. What happened in there? The elite. They look like they've seen hell. Guildmaster Mr. Woo steps forward from the Bravery Guild, his voice trembling. Could you help us move the deceased? The deceased? Yes, of course. A grim nod answers. Jinwoo remains at the edge of the gate, his form illuminated by static pulses. He stares into the distance, lost in thought. The system's architect is gone, and I still don't have all the answers. Mr. Woo approaches, voice heavy with shock. Around 20 top-ranked hunters died. If this had been a true dungeon break, the damage would have been catastrophic. He looks at Jinwoo. And you tried to stop this? Alone? Jinwoo remains silent. His eyes drift toward the long rows of white shrouds, bodies of the fallen lined in silence. I requested the Hunters Guild and Monitoring Division to seal off the area. The magic leaking out was too intense, a guild officer explains. These are the sacrifices. I only survived thanks to the others. Then he glances at Jinwoo again, curiosity sparking. How did you know this particular gate held a dual dungeon? Jinwoo answers calmly, the dungeon summoned me. The man blinks. It summoned you? Jinwoo nods. I received a message. A message only I could see. Can we view it too? The officer asks. I'm sorry. It's only visible to me. The man studies Jinwoo quietly. He doesn't seem like he's lying, but still. He's someone hard to read. Hunter Cha steps in gently. Are you all right? Jinwoo glances at her. Yes. Just a little. Tired. He stumbles slightly. The weight of the battle still lingers in his bones and Jinwoo falls to the ground. Scene shift to Japan. The Hunter Bureau's staging grounds. Trucks line the road. Portable barriers, reinforced with magic, pulse with protective energy. Hunter Yuri Orlov. A voice calls. About 20 vans are ready to activate an enormous protective magic circle spanning the city. The barriers will maintain energy from these mana crystal after setup. Once active, the circle will sustain itself. But something feels off. There's something strange. Is something wrong? Asks a colleague. No. The circle's flawless. But it feels like there's someone already outside. Someone. The man glances around nervously. Who would have that kind of courage to just walk through? During a gate event? Another responds, I didn't say it was a person. Above the city, cloaked in shadows, a lone figure watches from a rooftop. Their gaze is fixed on the vortex. Everything is flowing, exactly as it should. A low whisper follows. It has begun. To the predestined tragedy. Down on the ground, military tanks and modern weapons are positioned, but they are helpless ornaments. The military can't affect these monsters, someone says. If Yuri Orlov fails, we'll need every second to prepare. A woman with red hair tightens her grip on her sword. We're not here to look strong. We're here to die first if it goes wrong. From the command tent, instructions buzz. Perfect. Very well. Seal roads 1 through 5. As the officers relay orders, the gate trembles. It's a treat to call an emergency at this scale, one hunter jokes. You ever seen one this big? How many S-rank hunters are here? Not enough. Then it begins. The gate. It's opening. Electricity bursts across the skyline. Inside a hospital room, Jinwoo jolts awake. Was I in a hospital? A voice cries out, Big brother. Ho rushes in, overwhelmed. You're awake. What happened? I thought you were dead. I was asleep. For 3 days, Jinwoo replies. He clutches his forehead. If I was asleep that long, then I couldn't stop the release. A grim realization dawns. Jinho, what happened to the S-rank gate in Japan? The man falters. Well, a monstrous roar shakes the city. In an instant, chaos erupts. Cracks spread across the street as an enormous being crashes into the road. A giant. More follow. Hulking titans, wrapped in black magic, stomp forward. The monsters, they're coming out already? Yuri Orlov growls, come. Magic detonates. Barriers surge. The vortex pulses, growing, twisting. Above the skyline, a colossal hand pierces the barrier. Hunter gasps. That's not just any giant, but it's too late. The sky tears open. Light engulfs the horizon as more giants pour through. Inside the headquarters, Jinwoo stands with his head lowered. The raid was a failure, Jinwoo says, his words heavy, face unreadable. The scene shifts to an office lined with dusty bookshelves. Director Yu Myung-han wakes with a groan, rubbing the bridge of his nose. I must have dozed off again. How long was I asleep for? A suited assistant answers precisely. For 23 hours and 46 minutes, sir. You asked me to take you to the hospital if you didn't wake in 24. You sits upright, mildly stunned. I was just about to get the car ready. The assistant adds. There are 2 recent developments I must inform you of. First, someone has woken up from eternal slumber. You looks up sharply. Someone has woken up? The assistant nods. Yes, sir. It's Mr. Sung Jinwoo's mother. A long pause. The revelation lands with weight. Does that mean he has the power to cure eternal slumber? Back in his office, Yu processes the news silently, then sighs. All right. And the second. You have a visitor. The door opens. Yu Soo-yeon enters, her eyes calm, but searching. How long have you known? Far away from the safety of the offices, the battlefield rages. A massive, grotesque hand slams down. Hunter Yuri Orlov screams, scrambling backward, eyes wide with terror as the monstrous giant closes in. His voice cracks into a high-pitched shriek, echoing helplessly. The creature bites down. Flesh and armor vanish between rows of brutal teeth. Gunfire erupts, tanks fire round after round. Explosions ripple across the street. Shells light up the city. But the giants aren't falling. They're advancing, relentless. Choppers drop in, lighting up the streets with heavy gunfire. But the monsters don't waver. In the center of the chaos, a silhouette stands tall, confident. Weapons like that won't work against magic beasts, the figure roars. Get in there and take him down. On the ground, Kaneda Wada dodges debris with fluid gray stot. If I can gouge out its eyes, she thinks, it won't be able to read our moves. She swings her sword, aiming straight for the glowing blue gaze of the monster. But the creature is too fast. It swings violently. She lands hard, breathless. This beast is insane, she thinks. How is it this fast? A helicopter crew surveys the carnage below. We're flying over Tokyo, and the city is in ruins. Back in Korea, Jinwoo sits in silence on his couch. The news blares from the television, death toll rising. Little hope. This is hell on earth, the newscaster says grimly. Jinwoo narrows his eyes. If this crisis spreads, all of Asia could be at risk. Just like Jeju Island. I have to hurry, he whispers to himself. Don't go, a soft voice says behind him. He turns. Gina, his sister, stands in the doorway, eyes filled with worry. Don't go, Jinwoo. He pauses. What do you mean? I know you're going to go there, she says. Her voice trembles. I know. A long silence. No, I'm not, he says gently, rising from his seat. I've overworked myself lately. I'm taking a long break. He places a reassuring hand on her head. Don't worry. Outside, Jinwoo sits alone on a bench under a bright blue sky. Peaceful. Calm. Baru, he calls. A dark mist forms beside him. The familiar, insect-like shadow responds at once. Yes, your majesty. I mean, my king. I told you to watch over Gina. Have you been watching period dramas again? Baru flinches. It's really obvious? How has she been? She doesn't do much besides sleep, my king. Jinwoo sighs. She must be traumatized. A flashback, Gina's terrified face, blood on her face. That day burned into his memory. What should I do? A car pulls up. He rides silently through the city. The building looms ahead. A sleek, modern tower, Eugene construction. Inside, Chairman Yu Myung-han greets him with a calm expression. What business do you have with me, Chairman Yu? Jinwoo asks, sitting across. Yu smiles faintly. Hello, Mr. Sung. As you know, I'm the chairman of Eugene Construction. He slides forward a bland check. I'm not some arrogant rich guy who thinks everything can be bought, he says. Especially when it comes to S-rank hunters. Jinwoo's eyes flick toward the envelope. Think of this as a gesture of sincerity, Yu says softly. He's saying this discussion stays between us, Jinwoo thinks. He's not here to recruit me. What exactly do you wish to buy from me? Jinwoo asks bluntly. Yu is quiet for a moment. Then he speaks, to be honest. I suffer from the same illness as your mother. Jinwoo's expression changes instantly. Does Jinho know about this? No, Yu replies. Only my wife and secretary. You're the fourth. He leans forward, while searching for a cure. I discovered the only person ever freed from this affliction. Your mother. He places a hand on the table. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Jinwoo listens, wordless. What I want, Mr. Sung, is the truth. And if you help me, I swear never to forget your kindness. A long pause. Jinwoo stares out the window. Flashbacks across his mind. Gina's worried eyes. Today, I keep feeling like I'm being forced into a decision. The screen fades in on the chaos of Japan, an inferno of collapsing buildings and roaring flames under a hellish sky. News helicopters hover above the devastation. Inside one, a cameraman films the horror below. His colleague mutters, "This is devastating." Their eyes widen as monstrous beasts raise the cityscape. The beasts are destroying buildings, uprooting trees. It's like they're trying to erase humanity itself. And to make it worse, they eat humans too. The cameraman swallows hard. Then will we? No, says the pilot. Reports say we're safe. Just don't provoke them. Their gaze locks onto a colossal figure guarding a swirling gate. The others dispersed, the reporter notes. But that big guy hasn't moved. Is it guarding the gate? Or is it waiting for something? From their vantage point, the monster looks eerily still. It's breathing, says the cameraman, uneasy, but it feels robotic. Like it's been programmed. A tired sigh escapes the other's lips. If it were a robot, we might have had a chance. But 31 of these monsters came through. Only 2 have been killed. It's been 2 days since the dungeon break. The city burns as they ponder the future. Can Japan survive this? Scene shift to Jinwoo's office. Eugene-ho bursts in, horrified. What? You're going to Japan? Jinwoo sits quietly on the couch, calm amidst his deputy's panic. Jinho continues, the Jeju Island raid doesn't compare. I've never seen magic beasts that big in my life. Jinwoo answers with resolve. If I succeed, the world will know our guild. Jinho's face is torn with conflict. He thinks he usually trusts me. But this time, he's worried. I'll go with you, sir. Jinwoo raises an eyebrow. Do you know what all those major disasters had in common? He asks. Jinho slams down a folder of newspaper clippings. It's that I'm nowhere to be seen, sir. Jinwoo blinks. Jinho beams, embarrassed but determined. The only thing I can brag about is that I've been by your side. Please take me with you. Jinwoo smirks. Didn't you just tell me not to go? The next scene brings quiet. Alone in his office, Jinwoo reflects. I trust you, sir. Jinho's words echo. I'll be safe as long as you are. Jinwoo smiles, amused. I was just messing with you. Why would I go to Japan at a time like this? Later, he walks away, cloak swaying behind him. You can go home, he tells Jinho. Good work today. As Jinwoo steps into the evening, his thoughts weigh heavily. The architect was nearly my equal, even though I'm over level 100. And I couldn't use my shadow soldiers in that place. That means there are creatures stronger than me. This world is bigger than I thought. He reaches his front door. I shouldn't assume I'm the only one who can fix things. I'm not a hero. He opens the door. I'm home. His mother peeks out. Jinwoo, haven't had dinner yet, right? A warm meal awaits. Dishes fill the table. But Jinwoo is quiet. I need to make a decision. He glances at the seat where Jina would be. What about Jina? She said she's not hungry. His mother replies. Right. I have to decide. He slides a check across the table to an old man. I'm sorry. I can't help you. Chairman Yu, stunned, asks, then how did your mother recover? If I had the cure and wanted to profit off it, Jinwoo says coldly, why would I have kept quiet all this time? Chairman Yu lowers his eyes. I understand. Jinwoo turns. Goodbye. In the elevator, Jinwoo exhales deeply. He's Jinho's father. Maybe I should have been honest. But I don't know him well. There's no telling what kind of man he is. He might even be lying about being sick. The holy water of life. I don't have much left. I must choose wisely. Later, at home, Jinwoo stares at the glowing vials. His offer was tempting, but it didn't feel right. If I had to decide right now, I'd choose. He lifts a piece of food with his chopsticks, pauses, and speaks gently. Mom. I have to go. There are still people stronger than me, he thinks. But as long as I can level up, I need to keep growing. His mother smiles. Your father was the same. He'd leave mid-meal for a fire. She offers quietly, I'll help you pack after dinner. That night, Jinwoo walks through the dim hallway. He gently opens a door. Are you sleeping, Jina? Yeah. Can we talk for a second? I have to sleep. Jinwoo sighs, sitting by her bed. Where do I even begin? I almost died recently. He corrects himself. Wait, no, not quite. But I've had a lot of close calls. He looks at her softly, but this time. I really thought I was done for. It was bad. He smiles faintly, but I made it back. And every time I do, I'm grateful. He pats her head. I'll make it back this time too. Thanks. Thanks for not asking me to stay all these years. Jina whispers. Tears roll from her eyes. You wouldn't have listened anyway, she says. He grins. Yeah, I'll be back. From behind him, Baru rises. Don't worry, it whispers. I'll protect you no matter how far away he is. Scene shift to a press conference. Flashbulbs blind the stage. Jinwoo shakes hands with Chairman Go in front of the cameras. The scene transitions, airports bustle with hunters moving in full armor. Jinwoo walks past, calm, composed. Jinho follows, heavily geared and determined. Jinwoo looks back and smirks. They pass under the sign, Ajin Guild. Sung Jinwoo, S rank, Guild Master of the Ajin Guild. Yu Jinho, D rank, Vice Guild Master of the Ajin Guild. Together, they step forward toward Japan, into the unknown. The night air was tense with urgency and chaos. Military trucks lined the ruined streets, soldiers frantically tending to wounded civilians. Ash and glowing embers drifted down from the cracked sky like falling snow. Among the scattered crowds, a medic's strained voice pierced through. There's not enough space in the trucks for all the wounded patients. We can only take 3 or 4 more people at most. A woman clutched her husband's hand tightly, eyes brimming with fear and disbelief. But that's just absurd. There are over 10 patients here who can't even move properly. A young soldier barked orders, urgency boiling in his tone. This isn't the time to be worrying about people who might soon be dead. Giants are headed this way. You'll die if you stay here. Still, an elderly man stood his ground. My wife and I promised to be with him until the very end. Moved by his resolve, another soldier turned and nodded. Fine. I'll stay behind as well. I can't just run away knowing there are still civilians here. Let's all take cover inside. The ground began to quake. Rumble. From between the shattered buildings, grotesque shadows emerged, giants with glowing red eyes and savage grins. They're here. Fire, came the cry. Machine guns lit up the street in a wall of fire. Bullets tore through the air, but the giants only pressed forward, unfazed. One soldier screamed, "No." Then a monstrous hand slammed down, crushing everything beneath it. Screams and explosions filled the street. Dust, fire, rubble, boom. Buildings collapsed. The sky thundered. A soldier looked up, and what he saw made his voice tremble. What the hell? In the distance, a new horror emerged, something massive, dark, and twisted. But it wasn't a giant. It was a beast shadow soldier. Back at street level, panic spread like wildfire. This is dangerous. We should move to another location. We're too close to the hospital. A large chunk of concrete nearly hit them. Amidst the chaos, Jinwoo threw himself over civilians, shielding them from falling debris. I'll stay here and help these people evacuate. And then came a voice, calm, electrified with power. Okay. Jinwoo stepped forward, bathed in purple aura, electricity crackling from his hand. Behind him, the soldiers stared in awe. From the sky above, Jinwoo shrieked and dove. The Shadow Monarch's general crashed into a giant, sending the beast flying into a building. Then came more of the Shadow Army, hulking, armored beasts tearing into giants. The battlefield turned purple with their energy, black with their shadows. Jinwoo raised his eyes. Time to get down to business. He launched forward with blinding speed. A blade of shadow cleaved through a giant's skull, bisecting it in a single stroke. Far across the sea, in Maryland, USA, skyscrapers sparkled in the evening light. A group of elite hunters gathered over fine wine and steak. One raised a glass with a smirk. Ooh, Sung Jinwoo went to Japan. According to my sources, Miss Selner didn't upgrade him. Not even one level. Well then, another sneered. He's gonna die. They laughed. All of us had our powers upgraded by Ms. Selner, so we know better than anyone that ordinary hunters have a limit. But he's been reawakened though, right? Yeah, but he's probably overestimating his abilities. Does he think insectoid beasts are comparable to giants? A hunter with a big head always ends up dying. One tapped his fork against his plate. I bet you my yacht'll die within a day. I bet you my house will die within 2. I bet you the Scavenger Guild's building. At the window, Thomas Andre, America's strongest hunter, smirked. Japan sounds like a real fun place to be right now. Though I guess we'll be having our own party by the time tomorrow rolls around. He turned to his guild. That is, if we survive. But outside, an ominous S-rank gate swirled in the sky like a storm brewing hell. Back in Japan, a live news broadcast showed a city in flames. To everyone watching from home, it's hard to believe what we're seeing right now. The reporter's voice cracked with disbelief. Sung Jinwoo's summoned beasts are taking down the giants. A horde of dark insects swarmed a screaming giant. They're being eaten alive. A girl screamed. A giant burst through a building, red eyes gleaming, hand reaching. She ran. Lightning crackled. A massive shadow cleaved through the air and sliced the giant's arm clean off, saving the girl in the nick of time. Iron let out a growl. One giant leaped. Another met it midair in a brutal collision. The giants tried to retaliate, but they were being overwhelmed. Shadow after shadow, strike after strike, cradling the girl behind him as a dozen more shadow soldiers emerged. A girl looked up at her rescuer, Igris, the hulking shadow knight who stood like a mountain between her and death. She patted his armor. He gently patted her head. Jinwoo observed the scene from afar. Sheesh. Iron's having the time of his life after ranking up. The buildings around them burned, but the tide had turned. Soldiers approached Jinwoo, bowing deeply. Thank you. Thank you for rescuing. You're a brave soldier. Nice work, Jinwoo replied. He turned to Jinho. Take this man to safety and finish clearing the area. Yes, sir. The dust cleared. Jinwoo stood alone now. He looked over the battlefield, shadows writhing in his wake. Time to get down to business. He raised his hand, purple light glowing from his fingertips. Arise. Chapter end here. For more, like and subscribe.